Hey, welcome everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and welcome to your friendly neighborhood tabletop baseball channel, where it's your home for tutorials and strategy and player profiles, history reviews, news, tips, tops, baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and so much more. And welcome to a presentation of Deep Drive Baseball, and this is our 2019 Mets replay. And usually what I've been doing lately is streaming the kind of top matchups in the league. When I face another decent pitcher from a team, the marquee matchups, if you will. It's Jacob deGrom tonight. He was, outstanding. 2.40 ERA, 9 wins, 8 losses. Against Antonio Senzatella, who didn't obviously have a decent season, but he's one of the big arms on the Colorado Rockies. I mean, no real Colorado Rocky pitcher has a crazy good season. So it's tough in that ballpark to really have an outstanding pitching season. But the Mets are on a 10-game losing streak. Philip is in the house. Let's say there. I ordered something the other day. What'd you order, Philip? Mets are on a 10-day losing streak. 10-game, losing streak. Let's see what happens in this game if we can break out of that. It's been kind of painful, but also kind of interesting to see how long it's going to last. So leading it off in Colorado, we're in Shea Stadium. I'm sorry, we're not in Shea Stadium. We're in Citi Field. And it's going to be Raimel Tapia in left field leading off. Trevor Story batting second and shortstop. David Dahl in right field batting third. Cleanup is Nolan Arenado. Daniel Murphy, first baseman, batting fifth. Batting sixth is Ian Desmond, the center fielder. He's played all over the place. This guy can play shortstop, center field. He can play anywhere. First base, I think he was at first base for a while. Brendan Rodgers, the second baseman. Tony Walters, the catcher. And Antonio Senzatella, the pitcher. Now you get every single card for $12 PDF with Deep Drive Baseball. You just sometimes, if they were traded towards the end of the season, you have to find them. And we're right about to get started. And the way you play Deep Drive Baseball is you roll 2d10. And that's going to be 0 to 49 off the batter. Jacob deGrom is going to be 50 to 99. And this little baby right here is going to give you some the out die, and it's going to be a modifier die or informational die. That's what I call it. So we're going to get started. This game plays very quickly until the later innings, when you suddenly have to start bringing in pitchers and checking pitching staff and all that. That's when it slows down a bit with like all modern replays. The Mets are a couple of games behind the record that they had at this point. We're on a 10-game losing streak, so you can understand why that is. So I'm not telling. So Phil Reynolds lets us know that he ordered something the other day, but he's not telling what it is, except till I get back in the strat game. All right, sounds good. So let's get started. It's Raimel Tapia. Raimel Tapia is a left-handed outfielder. He's a 3 outfielder. Here's the pitch. And that's an 85 off DeGrom, is a ground ball to the third baseman. That's the Todd Father. Fires to first and gets his man. So 1 out. All right, so 1 out. Toppy is retired fairly easily. It's a little chopper to third. Now these are brand new. I just cut these cards out. They're going to be a little trouble to handle, a little difficult to handle. Trevor Story, right-handed batter, shortstop. Pitch from DeGrom, 53, and that's going to be line drive base hit. So Story's got the first hit of the ball game. He's on at first, not a threat to steal. David Dahl. Now we're going to roll the 20 side on a 1. There's a wild pitch. An 85 and a 9. That's going to be a fly ball. Shallow center field. Racing in is Lagares, and he gets there. Nice play by Juan Lagares. David Dahl goes back to the bench. And it's Nolan Arenado. He's a 4 third baseman. Didn't make a 5. Wow, that's surprising. He's a 4. He had 93, and that's going to be a 7. 93, that's going to be off DeGrom's card. A 7 is a fly to shallow left, medium left. And under it is Dom Smith. Dom Smith is in left field today. I'll give you the defense for the Mets. All right, it's hold on a second before I go into that. Dom Smith is in left, Lagares in center, and Michael Conforto in right. Frazier's at third, Rosario at short. McNeil playing second base tonight. Pete Alonso at first base. Nolan Arenado is the batter. Wilson Ramos behind the plate, and Jacob DeGrom pitching. So fly to left, and that retires the side. All right. Ooh, let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, it's going to be Jeff McNeil leading it off. Now, let me give you Jeff McNeil's batting average. He's batting .358. Holy smokes, he was out for about 2 weeks on the injured list. He is back. It's a left-handed batter. Antonio Senzatella, and that's a 25, and that's going to be a defensive chart. Look up. Let me pull those charts over here. That's going to be a green chart. I have them color-coded so I can figure out what's what. 27, that goes into the error. An 84 on the error is fly ball left field. This is going to be, I believe, a 2-base error. And he's a 3 in left field. What did we say? 84. So he settles under it, and it's off his glove. It rolls away from him, and into second base is McNeil. High fly to left field. That Tapia just had trouble getting a good look at. So that's going to be an E7, a 2-base error on the left fielder. We don't see that very often. But you do once in a while, so McNeil's on at second base. Now we're going to roll the 20-sided die for the wild pitch or the pass ball, and it's Alonso 0-0. And that's a deep drive. Alonso gets all of that. That's driven way back, left center field. Let's see what happens. And that ball is off the wall, and McNeil's going to come around to score, and into second base with an RBI double is Pete Alonso. Next is Michael Conforto. And he's a left-handed batter. Here's the pitch to Michael Conforto, a 95-0. A 0 is going to give us a line out, and 0, 9, and below is a double play, and we don't get that. So that's going to be a line out to the first baseman, Daniel Murphy. He scorched it, but right at Murphy. All right. Alonso's on at second with only 1 out. Mets are up 1-0. And it's Dominic Smith. He's batting in the cleanup spot tonight. 0-5, and that's a deep drive off the bat of Dominic Smith to right field. And that's going to drive David Dahl to the track. And that ball is caught at the wall in right field. David Dahl. So Dominic Smith gives it a ride, but it's caught. Let's double check that. No, wait a second. I misjudged that. Yeah, I misjudged that. So that ball is off the wall. It looked like he caught it, but no, that's going to be a double for Dominic Smith. So an RBI double for Dom Smith. And the Mets are up 2-0. Remember, the Mets are on a 10-game losing streak. Rick, hey there. Rick Q. Sounds like a secret agent name. My lifetime contract with the Reds should be arriving soon. All right. That's a 4. Wilson Ramos. Smith, there's only 1 out. So Antonio Senzatella is getting hit here. And that's a 68, and that's going to be ball 4. So Ramos walks, puts runners on first and second with only 1 out in the bottom of the first. This is a long first inning. 12 won't be anything, and it's the Todd father, Frazier. A 14, and that's ball 4. Bases are loaded. Uh-oh. Bases are loaded. 2-0 Mets. Bottom of the first, only 1 out. Ahmed Rosario. I rolled the 20-sided to see if there's a 1. And a 57. That's on Ahmed. No, that's Senzatella's card, and that is a ground ball and through into left field for a base hit. Ramos is going to stop at third. It's a very slow runner. All right, so it's 3-0 Mets, and now we're going to quickly take a peek at the bullpen for Colorado, just in case. Brian Shaw, Scott Oberg, and Wade Davis. Some of the guys that pitch for them. I may have to go to the next day as well. Let's just start getting familiar with some of the names. So when I start looking, I'll have Jake McGee, Carlos Estevez. All right, let's see what happens here. Bases are loaded. It's 3-0. Now the Rockies are going to bring the infield in for Juan Lagares. Going to roll for the wild pitch. No. Juan Lagares with the infield in. That's a 44 and a 44-7. That's a fly ball, shallow left field. Wilson Ramos is not going to try to score. So that's out number 2. So Senzatella is 1 out away from getting out of a potential huge inning. Right now it's a 3-run inning, but we want to avoid any more runs coming in for Colorado's sake. Jacob deGrom, left-handed batter. That's a 46, and that's going to be a fly ball. Right field, right center field, Desmond and Dahl makes the catch, and that retires the side. But the Mets pick up 3 runs, and they lead at 3-0 going to the top of the second. It's a fun little game, deep drive baseball. You got to get into the groove. I find that after about 10 games, I start getting into the groove. Drinking a little bit of my coconut water. Let's see here. It's a little bit quiet in the background, so I'm going to see what I could do about that. That's ID Jester doing something. And I can't stop him. He's talking. All right, let's go back. I had it, and then I put the phone down. Trying to get a little background noise. All right. Let's see if we can get it here very quickly. I had it, and then I lost it. All right. Okay, Danny Murphy's a left-handed batter facing Jacob deGrom. Here's a pitch to Danny Murphy, ex-Met. They're very popular in at Citi Field, and I believe he played at Shea Stadium. I believe, yes, he played at Shea Stadium as well. And that's going to be a ground ball hit hard at the shortstop. Ahmed Rosario, he's up with it. Throw to first low, but scooped out by Alonso. 6-3 put out, 1 up, 1 down for deGrom. Next batter is going to be Ian Desmond. Right-handed hitter, playing center field. And that's a 0-5. That's a deep drive off of Ian Desmond's car, deep to left center field. Gives it a ride, a 19, and that ball is gone. Dom Smith, all he could do is look up. No chance. 2-1. So Ian Desmond connects off of the Mets pitching ace Jacob deGrom. 3-1 Mets. And it's Brendan Rodgers. Rodgers had only 81 plate appearances. He's a 22-year-old. Batted .224. No home runs. Here's the pitch. That's an 88, and a 3 is a hard-hit ground ball to Frazier. Backhands it. Long throw to first in time. Out number 2. Tony Walters, left-handed batter. A lot of this lineup is loaded with left-handed batters. Here's the pitch from deGrom. That's a 17, and that is strike 3. Walters down on the high cheese. It's going to be Senzatella on the mound against Jeff McNeil. It's a 13, and that's a ground ball and through into right field. David Dahl gets it in. Single, leadoff single for Jeff McNeil. Pete Alonso next. That's a 9. He doubled in a run earlier in the game. That's a 0-0, and that is a deep drive. So that's to center field. Racing back is Ian Desmond, and no chance. That's gone. Pete Alonso gets a hold of one. Ian Desmond to the track, to the wall, looks up, and it's 5-1 Mets. So Alonso's 2 for 2 with a double and a home run today. And it's Michael Conforto, 5-1 Mets. They're basically riding a 10-game losing streak. Michael Conforto, left-handed batter. He's 0 for 1, grounded out in his first at bat. 84 and a 0. That's lined and caught by Murphy. So they're hitting Senzatella hard. That's for sure. No doubt about that. Dom Smith, 87, and that's an 8. And that's a fly ball left field in the gap, and Tapia runs it down, and that retires the side. Oh, no, that's out number 2. Excuse me. Wilson Ramos, 2 outs, bottom of the second, 5-1 Mets. The pitch from Senzatella, 53, and that's a deep drive off the bat of Wilson Ramos to left field. Tapia going back. Let's do that again. Tapia going back, and a 16, and that ball is gone. Citi Field is 0-4. That's the ballpark effect there. And Wilson Ramos puts the Mets up 6-1. Todd Frazier now with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. That's a 26 and a 5. That's strike 3, and that retires the side. We're going to start going through some of the cards here, and I just looked at the names, separate the names a little bit of the pitchers, of the relief pitchers. Separate the batters from the pitchers. So when I start going through relief pitchers, because if I'm going to have to use relief pitching this early, you know I'm going to use at least 6 or 7 guys. We have a lot of pitching changes. But once I separate all the pitchers, it's not all that hard to do. I can move pretty quick. Once I get a couple of the names and I have them all ready to roll. Jake McGee, he's a guy whose name I saw. So I'm going to put him to the side. And then these are all the pitcher batting cards. I got a lot of pitcher batting cards, so I got to separate those so I don't have to even look at those. Right, and I put them to the side. So I got Jake McGee so far. Let's see if I can recognize anybody else. Tinoco and Dunn, Almonte. Oh, Wade Davis. I saw his name. Howard, Parsons. May have seen and Marquez. Marquez is a starter. Parsons is a reliever. I may have seen him. Not totally sure. So that creates an interesting situation because I got to cut some cards. So I'm going to do that on camera because this is warts and all. I'm going to cut some cards real quick here because I'm going to need some of these pitchers. I didn't think it was going to happen that fast. I need a couple. I need Berg. I need a couple of pitchers here, so I'm cutting this really quickly. This is Deep Drive Baseball. Gives you PDFs. And I didn't bother to cut everybody because I figured maybe I could have at least 3 or 4 pitchers already set up. But obviously I'm seeing that I'm going to need pitchers, and I don't have that many set up. I didn't expect to need pitchers that soon. I figured I could worry about this maybe game 2 or something like that. So that's it. That went by pretty quick. But this is definitely warts and all, right? And now there's Scott Oberg, so we're going to use him. So he's in that pile. Jeff Hoffman, Brian Shaw. More pitchers. And Pete Lambert, Carlos Estevez. Jairo Diaz. Modern baseball. You got to use 10 pitchers in every game. That's the nature of the beast. What can I tell you? All right. So we should have a couple of pitchers to get us through a little bit of what we're going to struggle through here. We got those set up on the side. We're back to the action. Sorry for the little short delay, but again, this is warts and all. So it's Antonio Senzatella at the plate. Now, it's still early in the game. He's allowed 6 runs on 6 hits. I'd like to see if I get another inning or 2 out of him. Well, when you allow 6 runs, I believe you now become fatigued. So, you know what? We're going to pull him for a pinch hitter. And this become I hate to pull anybody for a pinch hitter. Why that's happening, I have no idea. Oh, wait a second. I don't know. My computer just started to do the national anthem. That's really freaky. I see. Maybe it was that. All right, let's look for pinch hitters here. Pinch hitters off the bench. Estevez and McGee. Tapia is playing. Blackman is around, perhaps. Blackman. Let's go one more game ahead. And let's see. Reynolds is available to pinch hit. Ryan McMahon and Reynolds. Let's pull those guys. You know what? I don't even think I have enough pinch hitters to pull this off here, all these innings. I'm going to try to let him bat, and he's going to try to see if he can get through an inning fatigued. Ryan McMahon. Charlie Blackman may be available. I know Chris Iannetta may be available. He's the backup catcher. So I'll have 4, but I'm going to try to get Senzatella through this inning right now, see if he can hit. And then right? He can hit, and we want to prevent having to pull guys so early. Okay, here goes. Sensatella against Jacob deGrom. That's a 0-8, and that's strike 3. Sensatella downswing. Tapia now. Tapia is 69, and that's a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Jacob deGrom. Number 48. Nice thing about this, I can print out as many, sets of new teams that I want. If they get damaged or if they get worn, I can write on the cards. I can make my own, modifications. There's no big deal because you just print out another set of brand new cards. That's the power of having the control over the printing, the PDFs. So now I'm starting to buy the PDFs. They're so cheap. A lot of these companies sell PDFs for $15. I mean, come on, that's like lunch. So one day I don't have lunch and I buy the PDF for the set. I'm contributing to the guy, creating the card sets. And I also have control over if something happens to my set, I'll always have that set and I can print it out and I could replay it 1,000 times if I like. And I don't mind replaying seasons. What stock do you use? I use the 110, I believe, 110-pound stock. I don't think you can. I know guys like to use it. There's a 60, I think, or a 64. You could probably get away with using that. It'll be a little flimsy. Now I've seen what's his face, Utah Mike, Sports Time Machine, who hasn't been around my channel to say hello in a long time. And Utah Mike, he uses. It looks like he uses paper. When he was doing his payoff pitch, it looked like he just using regular, 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, which was kind of funky because they build up on you, and it's like 4 inches from the table because all the paper. It's kind of weird. But anyway, I told him to use maybe 60, which is not too expensive, the 60-pound stuff, the 64-pound stuff. But he said it wasn't his printer and blah blah blah. I was like, well, the same way you print it on paper, you can print on 64 cardstock, and it'll I think do you more justice because you do nice games. So, but I felt bad because his stack of paper, because from handling all the paper, it kind of gets folded, and it was a big pile of paper. It looked kind of unusual. All right, so Trevor, come back, Fanatic, say hello, man. Trevor Story against Jacob deGrom. What do we got going here? We got 2 outs, top of the 3rd. And that's an 89 and a 3. That's a ground ball to the first baseman, Alonso. And deGrom comes over. He flips it to deGrom and tires aside. All right. So it's 3 up, 3 down for deGrom in the top of the 3rd. Go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's going to be Sensatella in a fatigue status. So hopefully we can try to get him through an inning. That would be outstanding. An inning or 2. He's given up 6 runs already. He's in fatigue status. He's going to face Amed Rosario. And that's a 30 and a 6. And that's a ground ball hit hard to Trevor Story. Trevor Story scoops it, throw to first, and just gets Rosario by half a step. Rosario can really fly. Now Rosario had he had no rating as a runner, and then I spoke to Chris Witt, the designer. He said, well, he was kind of a halfway point between being a no rating and a rating. And he said, if you want, you can kick him up a notch. I know him. He's as fast. I mean, the rating isn't really speed, though. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really speed. So it doesn't have to do with how fast you are. That rating is, I think, related to how many runs you scored. So I think that's how a lot of the designers do it. They gauge it by how many runs you score. So it's Juan Lagares. He's a right-handed batter. He's a center fielder. He's no longer with the Mets. They finally released him, and they replaced him with Marisnick, the ex-Astro. Here's the pitch to Lagares, and that's going to be a 13, and that's strike 3. So Sensatella strikes out Juan Lagares, and it's Jacob deGrom. So he may get through this inning for the Colorado Rockies, helping them out a little bit. 22 on deGrom's card, and that's a strikeout. DeGrom strikes out, and that retires the side. Back to the bench, and now on the mound is Jacob DeGrom facing David Dahl here in the top of the 4th inning. And that's a 21, and that's strike 3. So he blows a fastball by David Dahl, and it's Nolan Arenado. Arenado's flied out, and a 63, and that's off DeGrom's card, and that's going to be strike 3. Back-to-back Ks, the second time DeGrom has done that, back-to-back Ks. Now, Jacob DeGrom, in our replay, I think we're about the 62, 63, 1/3 of the season point. He's got a 2.47 ERA. He's got 90 strikeouts in 83 innings. DeGrom had 255 strikeouts in 204 innings. So he's pretty much, he had a 2.40 ERA. And what did I say his ERA was? It was 2.47. So he's like 4 points off his actual ERA. Pretty crazy. All right, so it's Daniel Murphy. Daniel Murphy is the ex-Met. And he played with the Cubs a little bit, and he played with the Washington Nationals a little bit. He had that crazy 2015 playoffs. I don't know if you remember that, where he hit eight home runs in 8 consecutive games. It's a 45, and a 3 is a ground ball. Little chopper to Frazier, charges it, barehands it, throw to first, in time to get Murphy, who doesn't really run very well. I mean, Frazier had more time than he thought. He may not have been aware of who was running. He's had some leg injury issues, Daniel Murphy. I hope he can get through a couple of years because I picked him up. Made a trade, and I picked up Daniel Murphy, Franco, the third baseman, and then a pitcher, Robbie Ray. And I'm hoping Robbie Ray has a huge season. And I'm hoping Michael Brantley has a terrible season. All right. Jeff McNeil against Senzatella. It's an 82, and that's a line out to the first baseman, Murphy, right there. So McNeil lines out one away. Now it's Pete Alonso. It's a 58, and that's going to be a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. So on with a single is – oh, wait. I didn't do the – man, I haven't been checking the haven't giving him the fatigue advantage. Darn it. Anyway, that a lot of times doesn't make a difference. So let's start giving him the fatigue advantage now. Should have given him the fatigue advantage earlier, but it is what it is. Michael Conforto, 38. Fatigue advantage, of course, for the batter. So a 38 could become an 88. It's an out there, and an 88 is an out here. So a lot of times it has no effect. It's a fly ball right field. David Dahl backing up a few steps and makes the catch. 2 outs. And it's Dominic Smith with Pete Alonso at first. Pete Alonso's 3 for 3 today, so having a nice day. And I haven't been rolling the wild pitch. Let's do another one. 2. All right, here's the pitch to Dominic Smith. That's an 82. No, an 85. That's a 35. Either way, it's going to be an out. And that's a 2. That's popped up. Left side, Nolan Arenado over in foul territory, makes the catch, and that retires the side. All right, so we got through 2 innings, which really is what we wanted to do. We messed it up a little bit, but it's all good. I mean, the Mets are up 6-1 right now. I don't know if that would have made a difference on the score. All right, so we got Ian Desmond leading it off. It's Ian Desmond, Brendan Rodgers, and then Tony Walters against Jake DeGrom. That's a 66, and that's strike 3. Slider gets Desmond 1 away. Brendan Rodgers is next. That's a 98, and a 1 is popped up. It is an 8. So that's going to be Alonso in foul ground, sitting under it, and he makes the catch. Tony Walters. A 0-8, and that's a ground ball and through the right side for a base hit. Conforto gets it in quickly to McNeil. A 2-out single for Tony Walters. And now it's going to pinch. It's a pinch hitter. Pinch hitter. It's going to be Mark Reynolds. Mark Reynolds coming into pinch hit. And we're going to have to probably write him in. I don't think I did. All right, Mark Reynolds coming into pinch hit. And then we're going to get Scott Oberg. Who else will I have? He's a closer. McGee. We'll have McGee. We'll have one other guy. A couple of pitchers. I got to set up all the pitchers. Scott Oberg. Where are my other pitchers? Chad Bettis. Carlos Estevez. Chad Bettis. Oh, yeah. We're using Chad Bettis. And then Estevez. After that, we'll get Estevez. Let's see. There he is. And he can go 1 inning. All right. So I'm pretty much set up. So it's pinch hitter Reynolds. Run around first, Walters. Here's the pitch for Reynolds. That's an 80. And an 80 is going to be defense. We're going to check the defensive chart. A 90, what is that, a 96? 96 is going to be a range play, and that's going to be he's a 4. That's a line drive to right field, and Conforto after it and makes the catch. Great play by Michael Conforto. So Mark Reynolds, right-handed batter, went the other way and lined it into right center field. And Michael Conforto made a nice catch. All right, so we're going to get Chad Bettis coming in. He's going to be pitching. Oh, why do I have that? Let me go back. Undo, pinch hitter, Reynolds. All right. And now he lined out to right. And okay, now it's he's still in there. Wait a second. I brought Reynolds in by accident as let's give Tony Walters a single to start from there. It's easy to fix iScore, very easy, very simple to fix iScore. Now it's Sensatella. Now I'm going to get Mark Reynolds to pinch hit. And then he's going to line out to right field. Now it's looking good. And then I'm going to bring in Chad Bettis. Got to write him in. Chad. I also play Dynasty League Baseball. I'm in some leagues there. I've had this is my 4th year with one team. And I think this is going to be the year for me. I got a tremendous squad this year. I got who do I have at first base? I have Freddie Freeman. At shortstop, I have this kid from the Cardinals, the shortstop there, who's won a couple of Gold Gloves. Can't remember his name. At third base, I got Nolan Arenado. At second base, I got let me see. I'm trying to think. In the outfield and left field, I got Brian Reynolds. In center field, I got a couple of outfielders like Marisnik. I also have Ender Inciarte. In right field, I got the kid that used to be with the Angels. The Dodgers. The Cuban guy, I have him out there. He was. I'm trying to think of all these different players I have. I have a couple of good pitchers. I have Ryu, and I have the kid from Cincinnati. I can't remember his name. I don't have a really good bullpen. I'm building my bullpen. I have Plesac from Cleveland, and I have Eduardo Rodriguez from Boston. Those are my main 4 guys. And then I'll have somebody else filling in as my 5th starter. So I have, I think, a pretty decent squad. I have a pretty good hitting squad. Most of my I have my second baseman is what's his face from the Kansas City Royals, who batted 300. He can play center field. He can play right field. He can play second base. Everybody's always after him. His name starts with an M. Can't remember his name. I got all these guys, so I think I have a pretty good team. This may be my year. I'm hoping it is, because the guy who won it last year didn't have half the team I have this year. Except he did have really good pitching. He had like 4 really good starters. I think I have 2 great starters and 2 above average starters. Because, I mean, Rodriguez won 19 games. He did have a little bit of a high average, a 380 average, but what are you going to expect at Fenway Park? So, yeah, let's get back to this game. Let me find it here. All right, so it's where are we? Wilson Ramos. So iScore tells me exactly where I am. Chad Bettis on the mound against Wilson Ramos. That's a 17, and that's strike 3. And Ramos down swinging, 1 up, 1 down. Next is Todd Frazier, 3-4. And that's an out. What kind of an out? That's a ground ball, slow ground ball to Murphy. Murphy's going to tag out Frazier. Stands right there, just puts out the glove. It's a 3 unassisted. And it's Ahmed Rosario, 48 on Ahmed. And a 1 is popped up, left side. Arenado waits for it, makes the catch, and that retires the side. We go to top of the 6th. DeGrom against Ramel Tapia. And an 87 and a 9. That's a fly ball, shallow center field, racing in his Lagares, and gets there just in time. I'd like to have him in my team. I just missed getting him. I screwed up. I got distracted, and in a draft that I had, I tried to get him, but the guy I really wanted was a guy, Mercado. Mercado is with Cleveland. He's got speed. He's got power. He's a great fielder. Oh, but I really basically, he went pretty expensive. And right after, usually when a guy goes really expensive, the next guy goes really cheap. But I thought I had gotten the first guy for really expensive, so I was really apprehensive about spending a lot of money on the second guy. And when I started looking to see if I had gotten the first guy, and I didn't because somebody just beat me out at the last second, I lost the second guy as well. But it's all right. I still did good because I got Brian Reynolds. He's a 315 hitter. So Brian Reynolds is my left fielder. I needed a left fielder. In center field, I got a couple of guys. I actually got 3 guys. I got Marisnik. I got, like I said, Inciarte. And I have one other guy, and I can't remember him off the top of my head. I'll remember, and I'll tell you next time. Trevor Story against DeGrom. And a 68, that's strike 3. In high heat gets Story. Strikes him out. Story back to the bench, not happy. But DeGrom got it going on. 3 here so far. That's a 93, and a 7 is a fly ball, shallow left field. Dom Smith coming over, makes the catch, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down again for DeGrom. He may get an extra inning. Let's see if he does. No, he's got to go 3 innings where he allows 3 consecutive innings where he allows no base runners to get a +1, so he can pitch a little bit longer tonight. All right, Chad Bettis can go a second inning. He's facing Lagares. And that's a 10, and that's a strike 3, strikeout on Lagares. Really, Lagares' issue, he's been a heck of a fielder. His problem has been batting. He really hasn't hit very much. 50, DeGrom. That's a deep drive on DeGrom's card. And he does have a deep drive. And that ball is a deep drive to right field. And David Dahl to the track, to the wall, looks up, gone. Jacob DeGrom connects. I believe that's his first home run of the season. And the Mets are up 7-1. Holy smokes, 31. That goes up to 19, so that ball's gone. Jacob deGrom homers off Chad Bettis. I bet you Chad Bettis is not feeling too excited about that home run by the pitcher. 1 out, nobody on. Jeff McNeil, here's the pitch. And that's going to be deep drive. So McNeil gets a hold of one, and a 59 is one hop off the wall. And David Dahl gets it in quickly to throw to second, not in time. Late tag. Jeff McNeil with a 1-out double. And now it's Pete Alonso. They're going to walk Pete Alonso. He's 3 for 3 on the day, a double, a home run, and a single. 7-1. Are we going to walk him now or not going to walk him? We're going to pitch to him. Let's pitch to Pete Alonso. Let's see if he can go 4 for 4. Maybe get the cycle. Who knows? He needs a triple for the cycle. Let's see. And he has a triple on his card, 59 and 60, so that won't be an easy one. We got a 65, and that's going to be a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. And they're going to hold McNeil. They're going to hold McNeil with 1 out, and McNeil's just kind of an average base runner, so they're just going to hold McNeil at third. So Alonso's 4 for 4. Michael Conforto now. Here's the pitch to Conforto. That's a 37 and a 0, and that's lined. Now, anything less than a 0-9, nope, that's lined at Arenado. Nice play. Lays out. Great play. Try to get back to tag McNeil at third base, but not in time. So an LD5. Arenado showing off, flashing the leather like only he can. And it's Dom Smith. And that's a 0-7, and that's going to be line drive base hit. That's going to score McNeil. 8-1 Mets. Alonso is going to Alonso, he's slow. He's going to stop at second base. We're not going to be. So Alonso stops at second. Wilson Ramos. The batter, Ramos is 1 for 2, a walk, a home run, and a strikeout. It's Dom Smith at first, Pete Alonso at second. We're in the bottom of the 6th. It's 8-1 Mets. After a 10-game losing streak, I think this is the end of our streak. And that is a little number in front of the plate. Throwing his mask away, Walters angles himself and throws out Ramos. He had plenty of time to do that. Ramos is not known as the Buffalo. Doesn't run very well. So Ramos makes the last out. We go to the top of the 7th. deGrom against Nolan Arenado. That's a 40, a 47. That's a deep drive, left field. Back goes Smith to the track, to the wall, and he makes the catch. Oh, Dom Smith ran out of room, but made the catch right with his back to the wall. So Arenado gives it a ride. Next is Daniel Murphy. Daniel Murphy's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. That's a 36 and a 5. That's a hard hit ground ball to McNeil. McNeil whips it over to Alonso for out number 2. And it's Ian Desmond. Desmond is 1 for 2 with a home run and a strikeout. So we're getting a lot of action, a lot of home run power. Benny Blades in the house. Mets have been in a huge losing streak, 10 in a row. It looks like they're going to break it. They're in the top of the 7th, 2 outs. deGrom is on the mound. The Mets are up 8-1. Colorado Rockies, 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error, 2 left on base. The Mets, 8 runs, 11 hits, no errors, 6 left on base. It's Ian Desmond. Pitch from deGrom, 76. And that's strike 3. Let's check and see how many strikeouts deGrom has, because he's having a heck of a game here. And deGrom has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 strikeouts for deGrom so far. And we have to start checking his endurance. He's got 10 points. He's used, he can go 1 more inning. Oh, no, wait a second. He's gone 10. Let's see if he's gone 3 in a row. If he's gone 3 in a row without allowing a hit, and he has not. So we're going to have to pull him after 7. Because I believe he's gone through the lineup twice. He's gone through the lineup twice. He's given up a run. That's minus 3 points. He's got 10 points. And then he's pitched 7 innings. That's a total of 10. So he's used up all his points. That's too bad because I would have liked to have seen him go a little bit longer, but that's okay. All right, Todd Frazier. Chad Bettis, we're going to pull Chad Bettis. It's going to be Carlos Estevez. And we're going to write in Carlos Estevez. And he's a right-handed thrower. He's 26 years old, 2-2 with a 3.75 ERA. Carlos Estevez. And it's going to be Todd Frazier leading it off for the Mets. Here's the pitch from Estevez. That's a 44. And that's a ground ball, third base, backhanded by Arenado. Long throw to first in time to get Frazier. Frazier hustling down that line. You don't see that very often. Ahmed Rosario. That's a 69, and that is strike 3 on Ahmed. Waves at a fastball. Juan Lagares. 61, and that's a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. 2-out single for Juan Lagares, who doesn't get very many hits. And we're going to get a pinch hitter for DeGrom. And it's going to be Adeiny Echeverria is going to come in, pinch hit for DeGrom. And then who are we going to get to? I don't know. Let's see. Santiago, Gazelman, Font, Gagno, any of those guys. Those guys have been pitching lately. Let me find out here. No, I'm not doing that. Let's see there. Okay. In this game for the Mets, who pitched? Or in the next game? Familia, Santiago. Let's go back one. Familia, Santiago. Let's go back one more. This is game 63 for the Mets, I believe. 63 on the season. Gazelman, Gagno, Font, all the guys that I picked out. So those are the 4 guys that I picked out. Those are the 4 guys that are gonna come in. All right, so Echeverria is there against Estevez. Here's the pitch. Run around first. Lagares, let's see if we can get a wild pitch. No, that's a 14. And a 14 is strike 3, and that retires the side. So Estevez blows a fastball by Echeverria, and that retires the side. We go to the top of the 8th. It's going to be Brendan Rodgers. DeGrom is out. We're going to bring in Drew Gagno. Actually, you know what? I think Gagno pitched last game, and he pitched. He went about 3 or 4 innings, I believe, off the top of my head. I can't really remember. It was yesterday, but it seems like a million years ago. So Wilmer Font is going to get called in. He finishes the year with the Toronto Blue Jays. Wilmer Font, 29 years old, 4-5, 4.48 ERA in 48 games, a 1.2 WHIP. So not too bad, not too shabby on the WHIP. The ERA is a little bit high, but not too bad either. Brendan Rodgers. Rodgers is 0 for 2, grounded out, flied out. That's a 25. 25, that's strike 3. Rodgers down swinging. 1 up, 1 down. Next is Tony Walters, left-handed hitter. He's 1 for 2. He's single 17, and that's going to be strike 3. Back-to-back Ks. Going to need a pinch hitter now. And the pinch hitter is going to be Ryan McMahon. So Ryan McMahon's going to come in to pinch hit. So I'm writing him in. And he's a bats lefty, so let's get that. No. That's lefty. Let's get him in there with a lefty bat. There you go. iScore is pretty easy to use. It's a free app, keeps all your stats, all your data, gives you a nice screen to play with. I've done some tutorials using iScore. So if you want to ever check those out, you can always just, search and you'll see them. What if you let him go and pull him in the next BR? Can the Mets play the Rockies every game? I wish. All right. Let's see. Ryan McMahon against Wilmer Font, 2 outs, top of the 8th. We are in Citi Field, beautiful downtown Flushing, New York, right by the bay. That's an 80, an 80s defense. So we're gonna roll on the green, a 53. That's going to be a range check against the second baseman, McNeil. I believe McNeil's a 2, and this is a ball that McNeil is. He's a 1. That gets by him. So ground ball through the right side past McNeil, just a ball he couldn't get to. That was a 53. And it gets by McNeil. So they didn't give him the range at second base, that's for sure. So it's a leadoff, a 2-out single, for the pinch hitter Ryan McMahon. And now it's the top of the order, Tapia. And Oberg is going to be the new pitcher in the 9th inning. Well, the bottom of the 8th inning will be the last inning, unless some miracle happens. Here's Tapia. That's a 65, and that's going to be strike 3, and that retires the side. So high heat gets Tapia. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Mets are up 8-1. Mets have 12 hits, and the Rockies have 4. The Mets are on a 10-game losing streak, so this is going to break that, it looks like, if the Mets can hang on. All right, so it's Scott Oberg. We're going to have to write him in. I don't have any. This is the first game of a 3-game set. So I don't have most of these extra players I don't have written in. I usually just start off with the starters, and then as the game progresses, I add the other additional players who I bring in. Because why am I going to add all the additional players? Who knows? I just don't do that way. Oberg is a righty, another righty. All right, here goes Jeff McNeil. That's a 35, and that's a fly ball left field. Tapia pounds the glove, waits for it. 1 down. Pete Alonso, who's 4 for 4, he's a triple away from a cycle. He hit a double, a home run, and 2 singles, 4 for 4 on the day. Now, he's a 260 hitter on the season. 260 hitter on the season. Here in our replay, he's struggled a little bit. He's got his average up to 240. Let's see what he can do here. Scott Oberg looks in for the sign. Here's the pitch. And that's a 12, and that is ball 4. So Pete Alonso walks. A 1-out walk. Michael Conforto now, left-handed batter. He's 0 for 4. He's grounded out. He hit a line drive. Lined out twice, and grounded out and flied out. Here's the pitch. It's a 41 and a 1, and that's a pop-up right side. Daniel Murphy under it and foul ground makes the catch, 2 away. And Dom Smith is 2 for 4. He doubled, flied out twice, and then singled. You got to throw this twice for a wild pitch because we forgot. All right, here's Dom Smith. 77, and that is a defensive check. Defensive check again. A 79. That's going to probably potentially be an out there. Fly ball left field. Tapia, I believe, was a 3. If Tapia's a 3, it's an out, and he chases it and runs it down in the corner, and that retires the side. So Dom Smith goes the opposite field, but it's caught out there by Tapia, and it's the top of the 9th now. Wilmer Font can go 2. Lucky for us, so we don't have to make any pitching changes. Trevor Story. Story's 1 for 3. It's 8-1 in the top of the 9th. Mets are right about there, 3 outs away from breaking their 10-game losing streak. Here's the pitch to Trevor Story. That's a 43 and a 1, and that's popped up left side. Todd Frazier, the Todd father, backing up, makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down. David Dahl, left-handed batter, 98 and a 1. And that is popped up right side this time. This time it's Pete Alonso, back-to-back pop-ups. So he's fooling the batters. And now it's Nolan Arenado, who drove one deep to left field, which Dom Smith caught with his back to the fence. And he's 0 for 3. He's flat out, struck out, and flat out again. That's an 88. 88 and an 8 is a pop-up to left field. Dom Smith settles under it, makes the catch, and the ball game's over. The Mets do it. They break the 10-game losing streak. This is deep drive baseball, guys. Let me give you a little bit of what's going on here. We're going to quickly put in the win for DeGrom. No save in this game. And Sensatella takes the loss. He did not have a good ERA. I mean, I knew the Mets had the advantage. When I looked at Sensatella's ERA, and it's a 6.71, almost 7. So, yeah, so the Mets win it. 1 run, the Colorado had 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error, 3 left on base. New York had 8 hits, 8 runs, 12 hits, no errors, 8 left on base. And Pete Alonso went 4 for 4, a home run, a double, 2 singles. So he basically was the star, the MVP of the game, along with Jacob DeGrom. He had a masterful game as well. And I can look and see what so DeGrom, let me take a peek here at his stats. Team stats. So let's see. Let me look at the record really quick. So the Mets record now is 29 and 34. In reality, the Mets were after this game, they were 30 and 33. So I'm 1 game below this point in the season. Let me look at team stats. Let me look at team stats here so I can look at Jacob DeGrom is going to win his let's see, let's pull up pitching. This whole keeps all the stats for you. So DeGrom improves his record to 6 and 4. And his ERA drops a few points to 2.38. I believe his ERA in actuality was 2.43. So he's like 5 points away from his ERA, from his actual ERA. His strikeouts are at 100, 10 more. So he's a little bit below his strikeout rate, but you never know what's going to happen. He may strike out, 15 for the next 3 games consecutively. You know that baseball is a streaky kind of sport. Jeff McNeil has his batting average at 359, and he had a pretty high batting average throughout the season. Robbie Cano is at 297. He didn't play tonight. He's nursing a hamstring. Dom Smith at 276. Ahmed Rosario at 249. He was a 287 hitter, so he's got to get his batting average up a little bit. Michael Conforto batting about where he should be. Alonso leads the team. Oh, he's tied for the team lead in home runs with McNeil, which is a little bit unusual. Alonso has 11 home runs, and so does McNeil. So Alonso's been hitting home runs of late, but he got off to a really slow start. So that's the reason why his home run, his power, because this is already 2 months into the season, and he was averaging about 10 home runs. He's about 8 home runs a month to be able to hit 53 or 54, whatever he hit. I think he hit 54 home runs. So those are basically the highlights. Everybody else is pretty much batting where they should. Pretty much the only one who's really not. No, that's it. Everybody is pretty much where they were actually. Wilson Ramos batting 234. I think he batted about 260, 270. So he's a few points below where he should be. But I think that's all going to change. We'll keep track, and I have that no matter what system I use. I have the same thing happen. In other words, there's some guys that perform better than they normally would, like McNeil, and other guys that perform worse than they would, like, for example, Wilson and so forth. So that's usually how these games work out. I don't expect to have exact stats. I just like to enjoy the guys who are having great seasons, and really the game, the action in the game is what really keeps me interested. So this was game 63 for the season. I got 2 more to play. I'm gonna play those offline. And I thank everybody for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to chat with you guys and to say hello and to talk a little bit of tabletop baseball, our favorite hobby. And I'm in a couple of different leagues, some online leagues and some not online leagues. And remember, this is your home for tutorials, strategy, player profiles, history reviews, news, tips, tops, baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and so much more. You get a little bit of everything here. Thanks to all you guys for stopping by. And the guys who have not stopped by to say hello, try to make an effort to stop by and say hello. Don't be a stranger. I will stop by what you do as well. And that's it. So TP Cards and Dice says have a good night, and I talk to you guys offline. So long.